Hello, welcome to Undisputed Boxing. We're back to talk boxing news. If you're new to the videos, we try and do at least a couple a week. Please like and subscribe, share the videos. News just dropped. I don't know if it's been the last sort of 24 hours, but another fight's been added to the undercard of Fury Wilder 3. I want to talk about that. There's some other news as well that we can cover off. I'm here with Rick. Fresh off the England 2-0 win over Germany. We won't go we won't go into that in too much detail. It's purely boxing. We're here to talk boxing. But Rick must be in a very good mood, I'm sure. How are you doing?
Oh, you're in a good mood as well. Don't just pin it on me.
I am. We all are. We all are. Fantastic.
Yeah. Good result from the boys. Not a very good German team. No. We got a bit of luck, but deserved the win. And unfortunately, it's going to be one of those things where if we don't get to the final, we'll be seen as a wasted opportunity. So we're not going to, if we got beat off something like Italy in the final or Belgium, it'll probably be seen as, great effort, got to a final. It's weird. If we get beat off Ukraine, it'll be seen as it won't be remembered as a great tournament. We're kind of stuck. We're stuck in a weird position, really.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Big game on Saturday. Anyway, let's talk boxing. So just caught the news that Frank Sanchez versus FA Ajagba has been added to the card, which I think is a great fight. And it's really good to see Top Rank and PBC putting their fighters in against each other, because they're still very much building their respective fighters. Ajagba, of course, is with Top Rank. Sanchez is with PBC. I mean, they haven't really been with anybody of any real note. So this is a big step up, and they're kind of rolling the dice, as it were. I think that's a great fight. Obviously, Robert Helenius versus Adam Kowanacki has already been confirmed. That I think that's the chief support, actually. And then Fury Wilder, the big one. So I don't know. I was obviously initially disappointed when this fight was first announced, but now that it's getting a little bit closer, I'm getting kind of pumped for it now. But even more so now with this undercard, I think it's tremendous. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's getting better. I've heard that there might be some more decent ones coming. It's always about expectation, really. I mean, I think it's a good undercard, but it's probably because in the past they haven't been that good. And you're right. There's a bit of rolling of the dice there. I mean, the Helenius Kowanacki fight, that just had to happen.
Yeah.
And it shows as well, they need a big fight to put that one on. They can't just do that one separately.
Yeah.
It shows some of the economics of what's going on. But the Sanchez fight is good. But I expect some other good name, or maybe not as close fights, but some other up and comers. So I want to see what's going on with Charles Martin. I wouldn't mind seeing him in a fight or something.
Yeah, he's gone a little bit quiet. But how do you see that Helenius Kowanacki fight going? Did you see? You saw the first one?
Yeah. I probably see Kowanacki winning. I think he's got to tighten up a bit, and I think he kind of went a bit gun ho. And Helenius it depends what condition Helenius comes in. He can move around on his weight a lot, and sometimes he can look not that good. But he carries power. I think it was Dillian White. He seemed to tag in the first round once, and in their fight, and he's got that power to kind of unravel you, and he's sneaky with it. But I think if they fought like 10 times, Kowanacki would win like 7.
Yeah.
And this was just one of those where it went to the, went the other way. And as long as he's learned, I still back him to win. But a lot of it depends on, some fighters are never the same after they've been beat. So, that's what makes it intriguing.
Yeah.
And a good fight.
Yeah, really intriguing. Yeah, because there was a lot of hype behind Kowanacki, and rightly so. I mean, he wasn't just knocking out Tomato cans. He beat Charles Martin, I think Joe Washington. Who else? There's a couple of others on his resume that was pretty impressive. So he was rightly being hyped, but it just got derailed. But it was a cracking fight. I mean, I don't expect that to go the distance. I think that's going to be a really, really interesting fight.
Yeah, the thing, Kowanacki, is he's a proud guy, New Yorker, and I think he's Polish background, but he probably have that alpha male thing in him, and he's got to just be careful. I'm not saying he does what Joshua did against Ruiz and go, boxing differently, because I don't think he can.
No, I don't think he can either.
I just think he's got to be a bit careful about what's coming back.
Yeah.
And I think, I can't remember which round it was, but it wasn't like early, but it wasn't late, was it? It was like in the middle round.
It was fourth round.
Fourth, a bit earlier than I thought. I think he had Helenius slightly wobbled, didn't he? And he went after him and got caught. It was a while ago now. But
it was a little bit of a shootout. I mean, it kind of caught fire, I remember, in the second round. And actually, Helenius tagged Kowanacki a few times in that second round. And I thought that he would kind of, maybe change his tactics a little bit. But I don't know. I don't think Kowanacki's got the ability to kind of switch tactics. He's kind of, it's just like a bulldozer, comes forward. He's not great on his feet. I mean, he's not very good. He hasn't got very good conditioning. But I think Helenius kind of boxed almost kind of a perfect game plan just off the back foot. He's got a serious height advantage over him as well. So he was able to just kind of keep him at length with the jab and good lateral movement.
He hasn't got great defense, hasn't got great head movement, and he does become a bit of a swinger. And I don't know. I seem to remember I thought he had him wobbled, and he started swinging a bit more. And that's when he got caught, and he just never recovered from it. It was one of those sneaky punches where, it wobbled him, and then Helenius followed up.
Yeah, it was a strange stoppage.
If you're going to go in for the kill, or if you're going to get a bit reckless, you might want to do it in the last minute rather than the first minute, because if you get tagged, you've got less time to the round end of the round.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what our plan is, mate. When I'm over, we're gonna just stay up and watch the whole thing, because it's like, we might want to record the fights and then watch them one after the other before the main event starts or something. But
possibly, yeah, we'll have to work it out. I don't know. I wouldn't mind maybe getting up at 2. I mean, the main event will probably be 4, and then just power through. Have a midday Sunday afternoon nap during the Formula One. It's usually the ticket for me.
It's Line's first test on the Sunday as well, on the Saturday.
Yeah, not really sure about that. Staying with the heavyweights, I don't know if you've heard about this, but Hughie Fury and David Price is apparently in the works for the Joshua Undercard. What do you reckon to that?
Hughie Fury and who, sorry?
David Price.
I mean, it's always good to have a pricey fight, isn't it? But I do think it's this thing of Price hasn't fought for ages. I know Hughie Fury fought. When did he last fight? It was in December, wasn't it? Was he on the last undercard? Yeah, he was on. He was on Joshua.
Marius Wack, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Price hasn't fought for ages. I'd have liked Price to have at least a warm up fight. It just something doesn't sit well with me. Like they just reel him out, probably give him 100 grand just to take a beating, but then he's always got that puncher's chance. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I hope he's getting paid well for it anyway. That's all I'll say. It'd been better if he'd been given a warm up.
Potentially, yeah, but it's not like he's going in there with a killer. Like Hughie Fury isn't this kind of knockout merchant. That would be a little bit more irresponsible. He's more of a boxer and mover.
It's not so much. He's in bad danger. It's more just make it be a bit more competitive. Do you know what I mean? If you want it to be a competitive fight, give him a warm up.
Yeah.
Then if they box in a similar time, it just feels a little bit like it's a bit obvious what's going on, really.
Yeah.
But it's all because he's got that punch. There's always that thing, but he's hard to hit. Hughie Fury.
Yeah, he is.
He's hard to hit clean.
He moves very well.
And he has got an awesome chin.
Yeah.
So it's probably less of a risk for him than anyone, and it's even less of a risk because Price is not box for ages, but he's getting old. And he doesn't have to. You don't have to be a big hitter to get him out, do you?
No. And he does that. I think it's a strange fight for them to be taking on, to be honest. I know that Pricey is definitely past it, but he's still got that missile right hand that could put anybody to sleep in the heavyweight division if he catches him right. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Interesting.
Yeah, we say that. It's been a while since we've seen him do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has, to be fair. Yeah.
I know power's the last to leave, but then there's there's not just the power, there's the ability to land the punch.
Mm.
So I don't know. Maybe it's not that risky for Hughie Fury. But yeah.
Other news, there's been a lot of talk about this actually this week. The DAZN commentary team, the lineup. Yeah, what did you make of this? It's actually come under a lot of criticism actually. What was your first reaction?
Well, I think I usually find myself where I'm never quite as if something's brilliant, I never find it quite that brilliant. And if something's really bad, I never find it quite that bad as, the general. I don't even know it's the general view. It's usually just the general view of the people want to make the most noise. But I think it felt a bit like, if I'm honest, it felt a bit like how I felt when Fight Camp was announced.
Yeah.
Underwhelmed. I've seen some people. I've seen like Hatman absolutely slate it, and I think he's a bit off the mark. He's talking about some of the presenters and, I've never heard of that person. I mean, this guy, Hatman, says he's not got a TV, so he's never going to have heard of some of them. So you can't really judge some of the presenters. So I was never that concerned about that. And I think the presenter side, I mean, that Laura Woods, she's well known in sport, and she's a very good presenter, and she's presented on all kinds of things. So I've not got an issue with her. The other one that's heading it up, I've not seen tons of her, and I think that's a play to get more of the general market. So I understand that.
Yeah.
I think I was just a bit more disappointed with the commentary team, and it just felt a little bit jobs for the boys, if I'm honest. And I wanted to see someone like Malignaggi or someone like that who's a little bit more, I don't know, edgy or whatever. And the Hatman said something similar. There's an element of that I agree with. And I'll be honest, who's the two?
Darren Barker and
who's the
Tony Bellew.
No, not him. Again, Hatman was right with Bellew. He's fine, but you don't overdose on him. But Barker and the other guy, they've done some of these matchroom stuff, when they've been in bubbles, and it's cringe.
Really?
And but so overall, it's like underwhelming. But some of it is because Hearn just builds things up too much.
Yeah. I think that is the exact problem. Like he's been saying, we're going to get the best. I remember he did it when they were launching in the US. They said we're going to get the best commentary. Saying you wait until you see them, and then it drops, and then it's like Sergio Mora and whoever else it is that they appointed. And you're like, okay, because in America they've got some great commentators. Andre Ward, I really like. Tim Bradley, Malignaggi, obviously we talked about. I said I would have liked him for this team in the UK. But in the end, it's not really that bad. I mean, it doesn't really affect me too much. I actually don't mind Sergio Mora. I think as a commentator, he's not too bad.
Yeah. And I haven't got a massive issue with this lineup. I'm a bit thinking with Barker and the other guy. And I'd like and again, he has said there'll be other people depending on the fight. So it doesn't depend who to bring in.
I think
it's this thing of, if you just said, we're bringing in a new team and this is it, I'll look at it and I'll be like, well, most of it's all right. I do find Adam Smith cringe as hell and that. So I'm happy with Costello. I'm just glad Bunce didn't come along with him.
Yeah. Well, I think they're trying to bring in a sort of a younger demographic. I think that's part of it as well. So I think, Bunce and Ian Dark and all the commentators of old, I think they're going to be kind of, they're not really a right fit for this team. And also as well, and I think people are getting a bit too carried away. It's not like that's the team and then that's it for the next 3 years. Most commentators are freelance anyway. They're not kind of tied to a specific network. So there's a very good chance that we'll see, the likes of Carl Froch, Frampton, David Hay will probably come on. It all depends on, what the event is, or what the fight is. They'll maybe want to get a heavyweights kind of perspective on things if it's a big heavyweight fight. So yeah, I'm a little bit like you. I wasn't too kind of disappointed. I kind of take it with a pinch of salt, really. As long as we get good fights, that's the most important thing.
Andy Murray's just got through to the third round of Wimbledon. It's just flashed up on my phone.
Okay.
We cover all sports on this channel.
Yeah, we are.
We should just have a sports channel, shouldn't we?
Have you? The only other stuff that I picked up on, which I thought was quite interesting, is Loma and Teofimo Lopez, the rematch. They're having preliminary discussions. Obviously, Teofimo Lopez has got a big fight in August to get through first, but they're talking about Loma versus Teofimo 2 in November, December, which I actually don't mind. I don't mind them, seeing that again.
I think Loma's earned his right to have another go, and I don't mean that because of who he's fought since. Just more, when you're that great and done that much, you probably do deserve to have another chance to win your belts back. I just watched an interview with I can't remember his name now, but he works for Mayweather Promotions. He's the guy that always mouths off against
Leonard Ellaby.
Yeah, hates Hearn and stuff. And he was just saying against, Tank's going to fight all the best fighters and all that. And then he starts talking about, God, my head's all over the place again today. Who's our Scottish undisputed?
Josh Taylor.
Come on,
mate.
I know. And you go, we shouldn't do this so late.
I know, yeah.
It was better when it was 3 PM.
I know. For those that don't know, we've been trying to do this video for like the last 2.5 hours. I've had, childcare issues and, everything else has been going on. Anyway.
So, and he's just said, but no one knows who he is. And, he's not on pay-per-view. And it's like, but, if you're going to stay at 140, that is the best who there is. So you can't say we're going to fight the best and then come up with bollocks like that. I mean, whenever I hear stuff like, it's not a big fight or no one knows who he is, I just think they're probably running scared. I get it if there's an up-and-coming fighter who's very dangerous and you're like, is it worth fighting him? I get that, but when you go in, we're going to fight the best and the person's undisputed, it's just, it grates because it's so obvious as well. And none of the interviewers ask them like awkward questions. No. So we're going to fight the best. And it's like, what about this? Well, he's no one knows who he is. Okay, so who are you going to fight next? And then they name someone. It's like, well, no one really knows who they are.
Yeah.
So why don't you fight that person who you claim no one knows who they are, but they've got 4 belts?
I know it's part of the promoters and managers' job, isn't it? They kind of spout a certain narrative to try and avoid certain fights, and
I do think
it's frustrating.
I do think the YouTubers, all of them, or most of them, I think Hearn probably gets a little bit more of a rougher ride because he accepts to take it. But a lot of them, they just ask the nice questions to stay in line.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Otherwise, you won't get shut down.
Yeah, or you won't get an interview with me. And it's just like, I mean, we might get to a point one day where we've got enough subscriptions that people want to come and speak to us, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see in the future. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it on the news from my pad, my little agenda I put together. Amir Khan's talking about a comeback in October. Didn't think that was really worth talking about. Can't see that.
It'll be against no one. So.
Yeah. Anything else on your side?
No, it's just quite quiet in terms of like people like Brooke. I think I've not seen it, but I think Smith has done an interview. The one that got beat off Canelo, and he's on about coming back. But I've not watched it, so I don't know if he's coming back at a different weight. He looked a bit heavier, but I think he's obviously had time off, hasn't he? I think he had a child, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
I
think it's almost certain he's definitely going to move up to light heavyweight, I think.
Yeah, and there's some big fights from there, in terms
huge. I mean, that division is stacked.
he's still got a chance to win another belt potentially, but there's just some big money earning fights for him.
Yeah.
So he's still got a couple more years at the level, and if he wants to, for him in a way, I mean, it's weird because he's won a belt, he's become undisputed.
He wasn't undisputed. Unified.
Not undisputed, unified. He won that tournament, so he's done a lot with his career, and he's won all the British and that coming through. He's had a mega fight, which he didn't do very well in, but he's still a mega fight and fought with the best in the world. So he could just retire now, and I think he probably thought about it, but I think when he looks at it and goes, actually, look at that weight division, I could go in I don't know how much he's earned. He's probably earned, what do you reckon he's earned? 15 to 20 million?
Maybe not even that, to be honest.
I don't know. He'd have got a fair bit for Canelo, and look at the tournament.
Got a fair bit. Do you know what? He wasn't unified. He only won the WBA belt off of George Groves. He didn't unify. He won the
WBC as well.
No, he didn't. He was mandatory for ages, and he got the WBC silver, but I don't think he actually fought for it, if you remember, because he fought for it against Canelo.
He was a champion. He was a champion going into that tournament.
He was, yeah. No, he wasn't. He wasn't a champion. That's the whole thing, because he was in line for the WBC. He was getting messed around by the WBC. So in the end, he was like, right, George Groves is in that tournament. I fancy it. I fancy that fight. I'll go into it. And that's when he became world champion, when he beat George Groves. He wasn't WBC champion. I'm pretty sure. I'm only 90. Can't be 100% sure, but let me just double check. The people are screaming. Yeah, no, anyway, I think it was vacant. It might have been vacant. But anyway, yeah, light heavyweight is a stacked division in this country and globally.
So I think he would have, let's say like 15 million then maybe he's earned his career. He could easily earn that again.
Yeah.
Because he's a big name. He can go in, he can have a couple of fights and then fight one of the champions, or let like someone like a Buatsi, if it is him, go up and do that. He could even retire and in a few years fight one of these bloody YouTubers nowadays, can't they?
That's when the big bucks come in.
Yeah. Anyway, let's leave it there.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Thanks everybody for listening. Take care.